My name is Gregory Simonian, and I'm going to talk briefly about my new paper, Rapid Rotation of Kepler Dwarfs and Subgiants, Spectroscopic vsini from APOGEE. In this paper, we used APOGEE vsini to study stellar rotation for massive evolved stars in the Kepler field, denoted as the orange box in the HR diagram in Figure 4. In this figure, as in the rest of the paper, stars with vsini greater than 10 kilometers per second are denoted as pink circles. Subgiant rotation is difficult to study with traditional star spot periods because not all of these stars will produce noticeable star spots, which is why we turn to the APOGEE vsini dataset to study this population. The main result of our paper was that our data was broadly consistent with predictions from the Van Saters and Pinsonneau 2013 theoretical models of stellar rotation, which accounts for both the stellar expansion and magnetic braking along the subgiant branch. Specifically, we compared the location where rotation is expected to drop below the detection threshold, shown in Figure 11 of the paper. In this figure, the pink dots represent stars with vsini greater than 10 kilometers per second. The region between the dashed and solid brown lines is where the Van Saters models predict that stars transition from having detectable rotation to below our detection threshold of 10 kilometers per second. Qualitatively, the data agree with the model in this figure. The right-hand side shows a more quantitative treatment, where we plot the rapid rotator fraction as a function of effective temperature in fixed bins of luminosity. For the most luminous bins, the rapid rotator fraction drops in the region predicted by models, while for the less luminous bins, the rapid rotation fraction drops at cooler temperatures than predicted. Unfortunately, as we'll discuss later, the lower two bins intersect with the photometric binary sequence for the Kepler field, which can be a source of spuriously high vsinis. As a result, our analysis is limited by our ability to distinguish genuine rapid rotators from a contaminating binary background. One of the other important results from our paper is that while vsini are generally reliable for subgiants, they are substantially less reliable for dwarfs, particularly photometric binaries. We noted this when comparing APOGEE vsini to literature vsini in the Pleiades, which is shown in Figure 7. On the left is a comparison between APOGEE vsini on the y-axis and vsini from literature on the x-axis. The dark purple points from Jackson are vsini derived from medium resolution spectra, similar resolution to APOGEE, while the orange and light purple points are vsini derived from high resolution spectra. Points below the APOGEE detection threshold are denoted in gray in this figure, and points that are discrepant from the equality line at the 3 sigma level are highlighted as green. As you can see, these points are solely discrepant with higher resolution surveys. When these discrepant points are highlighted on an HR diagram, they are overwhelmingly more luminous than the main sequence, suggesting that they occur for photometric binaries. To explain this resolution-dependent pattern, we propose that there's a background of spuriously high vsini targets for medium resolution surveys that is caused by spectral blending of intermediate period binaries. These are cases where the absorption lines are close enough so that they are not flagged as SB2s through visual inspection, but they are far enough that the line is broadened. And so an order of magnitude calculation suggests that this mechanism could plausibly explain the spuriously high vsini background in both the Pleiades and as seen in the Kepler field. Methods to correct for the impact of binarity, such as those proposed in El Badri et al. 2018, will be useful for identifying and correcting for these contaminants. We also note the presence of rapid rotation in the red straggler population, redward of the giant branch. The red stragglers clearly show rapid rotation and signs of RV variability, consistent with being evolved synchronized binaries. We also use APOGEE abundances to study rotation in a high alpha population. In this population, we find an analog of the Kraft break, where there appears to be an abrupt transition between higher mass stars with radiative envelopes and lower mass stars with convective envelopes. By comparing high alpha evolutionary tracks, this transition appears to occur at 1.3 solar masses, a similar value to that seen at solar abundances. So in summary, moderate resolution spectroscopy, such as with APOGEE, can be effective at measuring stellar rotation through vsini, particularly in populations with few near-equal luminosity binaries. We looked at a sample of subgiants and found good agreement between broad trends predicted by the models and our data. Extending the analysis of vsini will require correcting for or eliminating binaries from the sample. We also note the presence of a Kraft break analog in a high alpha sample, which demonstrates our ability to study rotation in populations with non-solar abundances. We also find clear evidence of rapid rotation in red stragglers, further suggesting that these are synchronized binaries. Thank you for listening. Please see the paper for full details. The link will be provided in the description below.